Alright, hello again. So, this is the 1500 point list, which it is, almost exactly the same as the last two. Try and fit it all in the camera. Not quite sure if I can. Not quite. But close enough. Aha. So, 1500 points. I have kept the succubus as the HQ, and I do believe I took away the haywire grenades, which in the last video I forgot to mention. Well, I'll just mention it now. Uh, every time you take witches, equip them with haywire grenades. I cannot stress that enough, because when you equip them with haywire grenades, they become one of the best anti-tank units in the game. Because when they assault, all 10 of them, or 9, or however many are left, throw their haywire grenades at the vehicle, which it hits on a 3-up if it moved. If not, it's an auto hit, which haywire, usually what happens is you'll just glance the thing to death, because when you attack with it, to penetrate, you roll 1d6, and you don't add any strength or anything. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 through 5, the vehicle suffers a glancing hit. On a 6, it takes a penetrating hit. And in close combat, they can't take cover saves, so say a Rhino from Chaos or Space Marines pops smoke, and it gives it a 5-up cover save. They're not going to get that against the haywire grenades because it counts as close combat. So I really cannot stress enough how important it is to take haywire grenades with your witches. It's usually 20 points, which seems like a lot, but it's going to make up for its point cost, because I don't think there's a vehicle in the game that costs 20 points. And chances are you're gonna pop whatever vehicle it is. Even if it's a Land Raider, you can still glance it to death. So anyway, moving on. I have the succubus with the 9 witches, which is the same. They all have Hydra gauntlets, or haywire grenades, and there's one model with Hydra gauntlets, which, if you don't know what they do, it adds 1d6 attacks, which I love because the more dice the better. And then there's the Hecatrix with the Phantasm Grenade Launcher and Venom Blade that wounds on a 2-up, which I usually give to my Hecatrixes and my Succubuses, or Succubi, because it wounds on a 2-up, it's a 5-point upgrade, and usually we're going to have so many attacks, especially on the charge, that we don't really need power weapons and such, because there's so many dice that they're bound to fail some of their armor saves, and we don't always really want to kill first turn, which seems like it'd be a good idea, but it's really not, because then you kill them, you're out in the open, and you just get shot at. So it's nice to charge one unit, and then have the other units charge you while you're already in close combat, because then you're never out in the open getting shot at. And so just try and keep them in close combat as long as you can. And and then I haven't mentioned yet, the Phantasm Grenade Launchers have gotten some bonuses in 6th edition. So they give you assault and defense grenades, the whole unit. So what that does is assault grenades, when you're assaulting, when you assault through cover, you don't suffer the penalty to the initiative, and you still strike at normal initiative even though you're charging through difficult terrain or cover or whatever it may be. And then defensive grenades make it so that when people attack you, they don't get their bonus attack for charging, which is always nice because we're pretty squishy. But also, the thing I like is it helps us out usually with Overwatch. So with the new defensive grenades, if you are within 8 inches of the unit firing at you, you get a +1 to your cover save. So you get a 6-up cover save, which sounds really crappy, but it's better than nothing, which is usually what you'll get with Overwatch because usually the weapons firing have an AP, and even bolters have an AP of 5, and we don't get armor saves against those as witches. So the 6-up cover save is nice, especially when you assault through cover. Or no, sorry, it doesn't improve your cover save by +1, it just gives you stealth. So when you're assaulting through cover, say you're assaulting through ruins. So then that's normally a 4-up cover save, but we get, when they're firing Overwatch at us, we get a 3-up cover save against their Overwatch. So chances are nobody's going to die during the charge, which is really handy. And so I always take Phantasm Grenade Launchers and Venom Blades with my Hecatrixes. So then moving on, I have a second squad of witches. This is a full 10, so they all have Haywire grenades. The Hecatrix has Venom Blade and Phantasm Grenade Launcher, and they have 2 pairs of Hydra Gauntlets, and they're in a Raider with, and actually neither of the Witch Raiders have Night Shields, because I didn't have the points. However, I did add a third squad of Trueborn and the Venoms, so that's 5 of your troop slots filled up, so that's a lot of objectives that you can get, which really, you only use Cabalites for objectives because witches really aren't meant to sit on anything, they are meant to go out and kill. So that's nice, plus it gives you another Venom to just pour more shots into people. Now I have 9 Reavers instead of 7, and they have 2 Heat Lances. I decided with this list to drop the point cost a little bit to accommodate some other things, and give them Heat Lances, so now they can use their normal Blade Veins, and they have 2 extra people, so it kind of makes up for the Caltrips. And so that's still a lot of Blade Vein hits, but you also have the option of getting up close behind a vehicle and using Heat Lances, which have the Melta keyword. So with Heat Lances, when you are 9 inches away from the vehicle you're shooting at, you roll 2d6 for armor penetration, and they're strength 6 AP1 weapons. So those are really handy. And also, the last thing is I have included a Ravager with 3 Dark Lances and Night Shields. Ravagers, I think, are a beautiful thing. One of my favorite heavy support choices to use. Well, it's the only one I have, but I have tried other ones proxying for them, and Ravagers usually tend to work the best. And that's because they're just mobile tank hunters. So they have this special rule, I think it's called Aerial Assault. And you can move your full 12 inches and fire all of its weapons at full ballistic skill. So normally, because it's a fast skimmer, you would fire 2 Dark Lances at full ballistic skill, and then you would fire 1 at ballistic skill 1, so you would need a 6 to hit. And so I really think they're great. They're really handy for taking things out like Land Raiders that have high armor values. And I don't know, I just think they're really nice. But also, what you can do is you can give them disintegrator cannons instead for free, which are heavy 3, strength 5, AP 2, which are really nice when, say, you play Footslog and Space Marines, where they really don't have any vehicles or anything. You can do it even if they have vehicles, because you can use your witches and Dark Lances on your raiders to move up and take out those vehicles. And the strength 5 AP2 is nice because even against Terminators, it wounds on a 3-up and it goes straight through their armor. So that's 3 shots at full ballistic skill that hit on a 3-up and are probably gonna wound on a 3-up and go straight through any armor in the game, which they'll get invul saves still, but that's only a 5-up, which are not that great. So basically, you're probably going to get two or so kills out of that per weapon. So if you're firing at a squad with 3 disintegrator cannons, then you can get off, you can take out quite a few of them usually, even if they're in heavy armor like Terminator armor. So the basic idea for this list is kind of the same. You have the witches deployed, and you have usually 2 of the Cavalite squads deployed, and your Cavalite Trueborn deployed. Which, I don't know, it kind of seems like a lot to me because I usually don't deploy very much because I like it when I have a steady flow coming in from reserves, and that's just kind of, I like to play according to fluff, kind of when I use tactics, which is where maybe only a couple of units show up and you think, oh, it's not that scary, and so you move everything up and you kind of focus them all into one point, and then everything comes in and just obliterates that clusterfuck of people. So basically the idea is to keep those deployed, and then in reserves you'll have 1 squad of Cavalites and a Venom, the 9 Reavers, and the Ravager. And the Ravager is nice. I like putting night shields on it because you don't have to use it like as a mobile tank hunter. You don't have to move it around a whole lot, which I usually shuffle it just a little bit, move it an inch or two just so it gets its jink, so that when it gets shot at, it's not guaranteed to go down, and it has something to protect itself with other than just armor value of 11, which is not very good. And I like to just kind of sometimes have it sit, and when you put night shields on it, you'll be in range of things, but things won't be in range of you, because you'll have the full 36 inches, but say you're playing Eldar and they have Bright Lances trying to shoot back at you, they're only going to have a 30-inch range. So usually they can move up their 6 inches and get a shot, but then, you know, so sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it will. So, and it's kind of nice to have just if something is, you're moving up close and something far back is trying to hit you and it's just not quite in range, or it can't quite get in range even with its move, and so on and so forth. So that's about it for this list, and for my next tactic videos I'm just going to go over the slots. So I'll start with HQ and then go on to troops and elites and fast attack and then heavy support and so on. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.